Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Now, I sort of did this video the other day, but I want to coin it in a completely different way. I believe the reason I don't reach a lot of people with any sort of financial videos is because they are convinced, and they have convinced themselves, and this is why I always first try and tell you that the battle for wealth is in the mind first. This is the reason all of the wealth gurus tell you the first thing you have to do to become wealthy is to convince yourself, A, that you're worthy of being wealthy, B, that you will be wealthy, just convince yourself that you will be wealthy, and C, get out of that poverty mindset. Now, they call it, I'm sorry, I just woke up. They call it a negative mindset? I can't think. I'm sorry. Well, the opposite of it is abundance mindset, meaning you look at the positive aspect of everything. Over the years, as I've made financial videos, invariably, black people come to my channel, and I'm not picking on black people, I'm just pointing out black people. Black people come to my channel and say, God said, God told me, God doesn't want me to be wealthy. I'm here to tell you there is absolutely no outside force whatsoever that can defeat you in your glory, in your wealth acquisition. What if I told you God has absolutely nothing to do with much money? Because God has absolutely no use for money. I know that your preacher has told you something completely different. And I'm not trying to get into religion. I'm trying to convince you that you have been miseducated. God does not care about money at all. It doesn't even register. Money is all man-made. And so much so, not only is it all man-made, but the very idea of money is fantasy. When people say that money is fiat, it is literally based on hopes and dreams. If I work for an hour, I hope and dream to make $8 an hour. I hope and dream to make $10 an hour. I hope and dream to make $30 an hour. I hope and dream to make $120 an hour. That's all it is. It's hopes and dreams. It's fiat. It's not based on anything reality. It's a complete, pure mathematical concept. So that's why all of the financial gurus first tell you the first thing you have to do to become wealthy is to convince yourself that you will be wealthy. Black people coming into my channel say God doesn't want me. Wealth is evil. Money is evil. Money is not good. Money is not evil. Money is a complete man-made fantasy. Now, good and evil, although it's a man-made fantasy, it is definitely real. Why? Because people act on it. People have convinced themselves that they are evil, that then they go out and commit evil acts, which then, by definition, makes them evil. Weird how that works, huh? I convince myself that I am good. I do acts of good, which in turn then makes me a good man. How come you can see that, but you can't see that I convince myself to be wealthy, then I go out and do stuff to make me wealthy, and ergo, I become a wealthy man. It's as simple as that. Erase God out of the picture. Tithing is not biblical. And the word tithing, you don't even understand it. I did a video on it. Go look it up. You don't even understand it. You religious people, do not mix religion with money. Religion has no, spirituality has absolutely nothing to do with money. Nothing. Did he say nothing? Nothing. But what about helping the poor? Helping the poor is a good act. Nothing to do with religion. Nothing. The heathen helps the poor. Huh? So what does that say about your religion? If the heathen who doesn't believe in any sort of God helps the poor, what does that say about your religion? You do not have a monopoly on good and evil. Some people would say you do have a monopoly on evil, but I digress. Helping the poor, feeding the hungry, are acts of goodness. Has nothing to do with your religion. The most evil person on the planet has helped the poor, has fed the hungry, has clothed the naked, has visited the sick and the widows, played with the children. The most evil person on the planet. Why? Because there's no such thing as a good man or an evil man. There is no outside force that is preventing you from becoming wealthy. None whatsoever. Have you heard the saying, if somebody wants to kill you, there is nothing on earth that you could do to prevent it? Have you heard that saying? What is? Let's analyze that saying. If somebody has convinced themselves that you need to die, there is no preventative measure to completely thwart that. You know, it's really strange. Man has made bullets. For whatever reason, man has not made anything to protect himself against bullets. There are many things that are bullet resistant. There is nothing that is bulletproof. We just had one of the channels that delves in protection gear, armor, get completely, was he sued or was he just taken out or something like that? They were trying to delete his channel or something and remove all the advertising because he was showing people that armor cannot be knife proof. Just a knife. Why? He says because you can go around the actual armor portion of the armor and get to the heart of the matter through the weak spots of the armor. Because unless you were walking around in one of those giant bomb defusal type armors, you're not knife proof. Even in those things. And that's all he was saying when they demonetized his video. I'm trying to tell you that once somebody has convinced themselves of something, there is nothing. First of all, unless you are godlike, you don't know that they have convinced themselves that you need to die, right? You might know that Tyrone doesn't like you and that you mess with his woman, right? You might know that, right? He might come and get you, but you don't know what form that might take. You might walk into your house and it's all formed. How can you prevent that? Right? You might go to your ventilation and put poison that seeps into your house and kills you at night. The point is that Tyrone has convinced himself that you need to die. And Tyrone goes and acts on that thought. What's the key point here? He's convinced himself. He thought about it. That's it. And the saying says there is nothing you can do to prevent it. Nothing. Short of packing up and leaving going and living in Tibet, and hopefully Tyrone is too poor to grab a plane to Tibet, right? I mean, there's even people who hire professional hitmen to take you out, right? Somebody has convinced themselves to take you out. Even if you were special forces, special ops, military genius, super trained, the saying says, if they convince themselves that they need to take you out, you're done for. It's just a matter of time. So then, why is it you haven't convinced yourself that you should be wealthy? And I keep trying to harp on the goodness of being wealthy. Why? Because I'm a good guy. I use money to help people. That's all I ever use money for. I don't have Lamborghini. You know what I said about me and cars? I will buy a car, get my friend trained to be a chauffeur, pay for his license, and have him drive me around. Boom. That's my concept of car. That's it. That's my concept of car. You can do so much being wealthy. And all you people with the poor mindset, if I was intended to be wealthy, if you were intended to be wealthy, you're just reinforcing the poverty mindset. That's all you're doing. There's nothing, no outside force that is preventing you from being wealthy. None. No, not a one. Convince yourself that you should be wealthy first. That's the battle right there. Just like Tyrone has convinced himself that you need to be taken out. Just like I convinced myself that I am a good person. Just like I told you, even the heathen are good. So then, what's religion really based on? Well, religion has been manipulated by mankind. You understand that the King James Version of the Bible was written to benefit the rich, wealthy landowners, so that people would give up hope and serve them without any sort of rebellion. It didn't really work, because people are smarter than that. Even uneducated people are smarter than that. And we need to stop downplaying people because they're not educated. Heck, I am super educated, but I have friends, because I know that intelligence has nothing to do with how much stuff that you have memorized, which is what education is, right? You've memorized something. I keep trying to tell you, I'm showing you the web, meaning that you are the spider and you sit at the center of anything, any problem, any issue, any conversation. And when you try and analyze it, it is a web, all thousands of strands coming to that particular issue. It's not good versus evil. It's not religion versus secular. There's thousands and thousands of strands leading to that conclusion. You need to think like that too. And when you are presented with a problem, like say, you're not wealthy, and why do I keep coming to you now? It's not all about money. It is all about money. If you live in the United States, it's all about money. Stop convincing yourself that it's not, because you're living in a fantasy. I'm trying to give you practical knowledge. Do you feel sorry when you can't help your neighbor? Do you feel sorry? What would you feel like? And I told you this in one of my videos. What would you feel like if someone was standing in line counting pennies and the cashier is giving them this stank look, and you go, hey, here, just forget it. I'll pay for it. Come on. All I have is a coffee. I'll pay for him and me. What is that about? It's called just being wealthy. Or wealthy for that situation. That you can completely save that person the heartache and the stress of not having enough money for a loaf of bread, huh? How much better would you feel if you could cover that guy or that girl or that old lady buy their groceries for them. Have you seen on YouTube the pass it on video where the guy goes and pays for people's grocery completely? He stands off to the side, and the one woman completely cries, breaks down and cries, and she said, I was sitting at home hungry, knowing I didn't have enough money, and I came to the grocery store anyway, and I cried all morning knowing I didn't have enough money. That's all it was about. That's all it's about. You live in the United States, it's all about money. To think that it is not about money in the United States, you're convincing yourself of a fantasy. That's not reality. You don't live in Tibet. You don't live on top of a mountain where you can just hum your life away. Concentrate on levitating across the river. For those of you who have studied Buddhism, you know what I'm talking about. You live in the United States. You have to pay for electricity. You have to pay for electricity. Unless you buy solar panels with money, you have to pay for electricity in the United States. And then I want you to think of all of the things in your life that runs off of electricity. And you have to pay for those things. And I want you to think about all of the benefit that those things which run off of electricity actually help you in your daily business. You're listening to me off of something that runs off of electricity. And you have to pay for electricity. So please, I want you to completely erase this poverty mindset. There is no invisible boogeyman trying to keep you poor. And you should strive to be wealthy. Why? Because you can do way more good being wealthy than you can being poor. Way more good. Go over my videos. What did I say? I want to create a corporation which advises black people when they go into business for free. For free, Shakaama, for free. You mean you will make somebody a millionaire with their business for free? Yes. Why? Because I'm a really good person. I want to create a scholarship for black STEM majors. All they have to do is sign up, meet the criteria, and I will pay for their entire school. Everything. What does that take? It takes money. That's what it takes. Why would you do that, Shakaama? Because I'm a good person. And all it does is takes money. That's it. That's what you can do with money. These people that you see, oh, such and so died. Why did he really die? Because he didn't get the surgery. He couldn't afford the medication. Oh, but there's all this welfare, blah, blah. Oh, I'm here to tell you that's not how it works. There are millions of people who couldn't get Obamacare. Millions were kicked off and could not get Obamacare. There are millions of people without insurance. Complete health insurance. And they need the health care. Actually, they need the health care. They don't need the insurance. Everybody keeps trying to harp on the insurance. They need the health care. What if I created a thing, you applied, and you can go get health care? Not insurance. You could go get health care. Much better than insurance, isn't it? What if I provided a corporation that you could go sign up, and you go get your health care for free? Nothing's for free. Sometimes it's for free. I'm paying the bill. It's free to you, right? Why? Because I'm a good guy. You can do a whole lot more good being wealthy. Convince yourself that you can be wealthy. And stop convincing yourself of poverty. Is there something against black people in the United States? There most definitely is. There most definitely is. Are there people benefiting due to racism in the United States? Yes, most definitely. But if you convince yourself that you are going to be wealthy, it is just like the saying that if a man convinces himself that you need to die, there's nothing. If you can believe that, you can believe that if you convince yourself that you will be wealthy, there is nothing that can stop you. Nothing. What did I say about everything sits at the center of a web, and there are thousands of strands leading to that conclusion? Those thousands of strands that you sit at when you convince yourself that you will be wealthy are all options. Thousands of options. And I want you to be of the mindset, oh, okay, well, this didn't work. That strand is gone. We have 999 more options. Actually, we have 900,999 more options. That's just one strand. There are thousands of other options. In real estate, how to acquire a home. If the goal is to acquire a home at below market value, Do you know that there are thousands of options for just that? For just that. Let me give you, for instance, you get a list of all of the recent deaths in the last 30 days in your city that owned a home. Then you contact all of those people and you say, I am a real estate investor. I pay cash for a house below market value. You tell them right up front, you're not here to make them rich. You're not here to make them wealthy unreasonably, because more than likely in the United States, people who die and who own homes more than likely didn't take care of the home, so the home has a completely different value, right? And you will invariably, every 30 days, come across people who simply want to get rid of the home, and they will sell you that home for well below market value. What was the objective? To buy your home below market value. And that's just one way to do it. A little bit congruent to that is an estate sale. You get a list of estate sales going on. And you go buy a home below market value like that. Auctions. Another way to buy a home below market value. The news only tells you about realtors in the market. Oh, there are plenty of homes sold well below market value. Homes with fire damage, homes with flood damage. It's a home, right? You can buy it below market value. I'm using that as an example that there are options, thousands of options for almost everything. How to raise a child. Pop psychologist has told you this is the way to raise a child. Then when you study pop psychology, you find out that pop psychology has literally rendered people insane. So obviously there are completely different ways to raise children efficiently and in a good way, right? And it's not pop psychology. It's not be your child's best friend. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be the child's parent. Pop psychology says as a parent, you're supposed to let your child do any and everything. That's just a different way of approaching parenting, right? What am I giving these examples for? Options, different options. So convince yourself first that you will be wealthy. And then you look at the options of it. I keep telling people, start a business. I can't start a business. I say, go buy in bulk oranges. Go onto the street corner and sell the oranges for a profit. Go buy cases of bottled water for cheap. Go on this corner and sell them at a profit. That's called doing business. That's what that means. Go buy a home car wash kit with the tank and all that sort of stuff. Then go in the corner and wash people's cars for them at a profit. And when I say at a profit, that means you need to calculate every single penny that you pay out to get the kit, to sit at the spot, everything at a profit. Convince yourself of being wealthy. Wealthy is good. Thank you for watching the Shakaama Live Show.